Hello, I'm Yoeri Vleer, better known as Luos, and in this part of the VFX Overhaul videos I will be adding some refraction and taking it from there. So as you can see, we already have sparks, fire, spikes and that kind of thing, but we really want some refraction. So I'm gonna add a donut shaped mesh around the initial hit, where it will show some nice refraction, and probably a few more around the spikes. And just go with the flow, I guess. So first we need to go to 3ds Max and get a donut shape. I'm not sure about the exact size, but we'll just go with the flow, I guess. Let's keep it at 80 and maybe 22 for that. Maybe even a bit more, 24. Rotation is fine, twist is fine. Segments might be a bit on the low side. Then again, so sides, and I don't want a torus that's like 1,000 polygons, so we might have to reduce that a little bit. Let's try 2, 4 and 12. That should work still. You can always go a little bit higher. And I think that's almost all that we need. Let's make it an editable poly and check the unwrap UVWs, which should be fine. I'm gonna select where the edges are. Let's see how they are going. I prefer them to be more at the bottom. That would be a little bit better. So we can actually try and go back and try and rotate the torus a bit downwards. Maybe a bit like minus, let's do minus 90 for now. Let's see if that looks any better. Unwrap UVW, open UVs, and if I select all the edges now, it should be at the bottom. That's much better. There. There's also always this little edge here, but that should all be fine. So basically we're done with this mesh already. I'm gonna call it static mesh VFX refract donut 01 and get my exporter tool, which is still set up correctly, and I'm just gonna export selected. That should be about it for the mesh itself, though I need to import it in here. So import, hopefully it's still in the right folder. Sadly it's not. Work, Celine, and there we have the refraction donut. All the options here should be fine by now. So I'm gonna import it. There we go. Save everything, and let's make a material for it. New material, VFX Refraction. And let's tweak some things. I'm instantly gonna grab the donut so we can actually see what's going on in here. It needs to be translucent. We can make it unlit. We don't need it to be two-sided. We don't need the tangent space normal maps. It can be fully rough. We don't need the apply fogging, and I am always disabling the light map directionality in mobile just in case. Alright, I do have a Luos refractor. There we go, which is basically just this. You can add an input of the low end of refraction, like something that's below 1. The high end refraction, something that's above 1. The gradient input is just something that goes over time, or other gradients, so like particle relative time, particle alpha, that kind of thing. And an additional one just in case you need it. That should be it. And it even works with depth fade. So if the depth fade is how do I explain this properly? If the depth fade results that this is hitting the floor, then at the bottom where it hits the floor, you won't see the refraction a little bit. That makes it look a bit nicer. So I'm actually going to grab a depth fade and plug it in. And let's see, we need a slight color. So let's grab a nice noise texture. I have in my toolbox in here, textures and noises. There we go. Let's grab a nice one. And I generally have good results with something like that, so I might go for that one. Though it's a bit more fiery than this, I might go for a more fiery noise texture in the end, but for now this is fine. So let's plug this grayscale into the opacity for now and multiply it by a very low value, probably like 0.01. Get some particle colors going. multiplying those there, and also multiplying these. Let me clean it up a little bit because I never like messy wires. For now this is fine. I can at least see what I'm doing. Plug it into the emissive color, plug the refractor into refraction, and the depth fade should go into opacity. And that should somewhat work. Might even forego the texture sample multiplying, but we'll see. Now let's grab a panner. And let's move it upwards a little bit, like about 3 or so. Something like this could work. Now we need to have the high and the low end refraction, though it's already set up properly in here. We can see if it's enabled. It should show refraction in here, but it's not yet showing refraction. Normally it always has a refraction option in here. We'll see. I'm actually gonna place that mesh in the world for now. Apply the material. And see if it actually does anything. And as you can see, it's nice and refractive. And that should give us a good indication on what to do with it. Let's go to the particle systems, and in this case it might work inside the impact spark, so I'm gonna grab that as a base. Get a new particle sprite emitter. And I kinda want it to move all the way to the front for now. Make it a type data static mesh. And grab my donut again. There, and I'm also gonna grab the material real quick. And highlight only this emitter. Now initially it will spawn way too big a donut, as you can see here. So we need to change that. The lifetime can be quite short. For now I'm just gonna go for 1 second, just to test it out. Initial size should generally just be 1. You don't need any velocity. The color over life might be nice to have. But now we just need to wait for a few seconds. Oh wait, we need to set it to override material. There we go. And as you can see, it's rather dark at the moment. We might want to change that real quick. Which in theory should be fine. For some reason it's acting a bit different than I expected, though we'll see. Color over life, we don't really need any colors over life. Okay, let's say it should be a bit reddish, 500, and I'm actually gonna forego the particle color, perhaps. Let's try it without first. That might work a little bit better. And now we just need a very low reddish value. And I'll tweak it accordingly because it shouldn't be this black. I'm going to compare it to the rest of the shapes. And as you can see, it's actually rather small. We want it much bigger. So let's try a 2x2x2. Looks about okay. Let's change the initial location a little bit. We want it to be slightly higher, let's say 15 or so. And additionally, we want to change the size by life. Because it should start out quite small, then expand a little bit more rapid, and then slow down until the end. So maybe a fourth. Expand all. In about the first 0.33 seconds, it should grow to about 0.75 perhaps. It's a bit of a gamble, but we'll see. Now close to the end, maybe there it should go to the full size. And at the end, the Z might want to scale back a bit. Gonna set required to loop only once and make the lifetime much shorter, like 0.33. Need to change the spawn rate so that's only emitting once. Expand all. There, and now I need to fix that whole blackiness thing, which is a bit odd because generally this was set up properly. So let's try a very low emissive color. And we might want to do the same actually with opacity. There. Maybe this will work better. That looks somewhat okay. Let's highlight only the refraction donut, and as you can see there's something going on here. I'm gonna change the color of life maybe to 1. As you can see now there's a little bit of a red glow coming from that reflection. That's actually quite nice. Though we don't want that red glow to maintain, so we're gonna go back and get a constant curve. And in the first 2 seconds or so there's a bit of a red glow, and at the end of it maybe it should just be a very minute whitish color, so 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 maybe. We can make it fade out a little bit faster, so something like this. And now we actually have to see it in this screen over here, so we can test the size and the spark. And it will be hard to tell probably. Especially with the camera shake. So we might want to go to the animation instead and see if we can see it a bit better here. Now, if you really can't see it, like I can't see it at the moment, you might want to just increase the color overlay for a second, and so you can actually see what's going on. And it's much too small, as you can see. I actually gonna increase the size by life to maybe. I'm just gonna go with the initial size. Let's make it 4 times as big. That seems about fine, though the lifetime now feels a bit short, so that might work. And it expands quite nice, though it needs to expand very slowly at the end still. So let's go by size by life. And at the end, something like that might work. Let's go back to a very low red value. As you can see, it expands a little bit faster and then slows down. And we can make that look a little bit better in the curve editor. And try and grab all the nodes. If Unreal Engine wants me to actually select them all, there we go. And add some curve to it. And that should feel a little bit better. It's just minute, but those curves really add some additional soul to your effect. As you can see, there's this nice shockwave coming off of it. It's not too strong, but we don't want it to be overly present either, so let's see it from this angle. You can tell that there's a little bit going on in here. We could opt to make it a little bit stronger. Sometimes you can go really over the top by just setting everything to 0. And we can try that for a second. And that's the result. Now you don't want that. So back to the material. And I think the current settings from 1.7 to 0.49 is fine. And the gradient input, you could always apply something like the particle color, but it's already being controlled now. So with the color overlay, you can already tell that it's fading out. You could even make it a little bit more pronounced at the beginning, like this. And if I go back to 0, I don't think it saved this properly, because it's way too defined now. There we go. That should be about it. I think that looks nice. Slow fading out. And sometimes subtlety is way better than making it very pronounced. So there's that part, and I'm gonna check it one more time. It's very minimal, but that should be enough. And now we kind of want to have the same effect over these things, but I'm not sure what will work better. Maybe 2 planes on each side, or a plane in the middle, or just spawn a few refractions around it. Let's see. We can do a quick test though. Let's grab the ground crack emitter. And now that we are here, actually, I kind of want to make the fire travel initial location a little bit different. Let's see, that should be it. Let's say 1800 to 7050. And that looks a little bit better location wise. Okay, so we kind of need something like the spikes in here before the refraction spheres. That might work better. I'm not sure yet, but we could try it. I'm going to duplicate it. Emitter, duplicate emitter. And for now I'm going to move it all the way to the left and call it something more sensible, like refraction. There. For the mesh data, I obviously need that donut. So I'm gonna put that one here, and for the material, we need the refraction material, so in the required, let's apply that. And this is what's currently going on, because there's a rotation rate. We can remove that. And we get something like this. The initial size and whatever is all not really properly set up, of course. So let's change the initial size first. Let me think real quick. I do think we can just go with a normal initial size, though a little bit of it might work better. I don't need a vector uniform curve, but just a constant curve. And at the beginning it should be a little bit smaller, like 0.75. And around the end game it should be the regular 1x1 size. Initial location is probably set lower than it should, so 15 on each. That should help as well. Now this is a bit much. I feel like they're being spawned way too many. So I want to lower that. Maybe I can go with 1. And size-wise, that should be about, location-wise should be about fine. 1 spawned too many here. Let's see if we can remove that with lowering the requirement a little bit. The duration, sorry. That looks better. Now we need to go to the color of life and all the other things, but I don't feel like doing this, as I already have one set up in the Impact Spark. So I'm gonna find this in the content browser. It will highlight it in here. Go to the Impact Spark. Right mouse click on this one, which I'm actually gonna call Refraction first. So right click on it, emitter, and export emitter, and now it's available in the ground cracks one. Though sadly in 4.21 something is wrong with the DPI, so I need to move it to my other screen and select the refraction. Move it all the way to the left. There we go. Now I can grab the initial location if I want. Though I don't really need it. I do need the color over live, so I'm gonna move that over here, which makes it way less visible. I need to change the initial size quite a bit actually. Though, let's see. Perhaps we should go with 2 in the beginning and end with about 4. So it might be a bit too hard on the shader complexity. It's not too bad, as you can see, but in combination with all the other things it might be a bit too much still. We'll see that in a second. So let's go back to lit and check the color over live. You might want to lower the reddish effect a little bit sooner, so I'm going to change that to 0.1. Make this a little bit earlier. That should work there. You can also change the lifetime because 3 is way too much. 0.55 maybe. That could work. And we do need to change the size by live as well. So I'm gonna copy that here. And that will give this kind of shockwave refraction effect. Now sadly, because I pressed something wrong, I kinda need to enable the cracks again, the fire static, fire new, the spikes, the debris center. There we go. And obviously need to do like this, the spiky sparks, the smoke, and more smoke. There we go. And now it looks like this. As you can see, there's a little bit of refraction going on. It might be a bit too much when they are all going, but it's better to actually see what's going on either in the animation here. And there we go. And even better, I need to resize this window again. Save all. And check it out here. And for some reason I don't see any of the fires. Did I disable that? Impact spark, I don't need that anymore. Ground spark. I missed a fire. There we go. That's better. Back to the preview. You can still see the smoke. There's a little bit of refraction going on, but not too much. Now we could opt to make it a bit more visible in the beginning, but I don't feel like it will add that much to it. Just a little bit is actually enough to showcase that. Okay. A few last things I want to check. The scale color over live. You need to change the alpha scale. Actually, no, that one is fine. I need to get the color over live. And perhaps give that refraction a little bit longer lasting time. There. Maybe increase the lifetime a little bit still. Check it out. There we go. It's just minimal, but it's more than enough. And now hopefully, Alt 8 I think, or that doesn't work in here, it's F5. It still looks not too wide. I still need to replace the fire at its sword tip. And this is still very much within manageable colors. Minus the swipe of his weapon. So let's see if we can do something about that. Let's save the ground crack. We do need the animation. We can kill the refraction for now. And grab that particle system fireball. And it's both using quite a lot of fire distortion and particle emitter. And in the view mode, you can already see in the shader complexity that it's way too high. So we want to change that. Let's go back to lip modus, and I don't feel like the fire distortion is adding that much to it, so I'm gonna remove that anyway. And let me grab the new fire that I made. And still this should be way too wide. So let's change something about that as well. The spawn rate is quite high probably, yeah. We can do that much lower. And set it to a float uniform between 1 and 2 perhaps. Though now it's quite a bit of testing. Because as you can see, he's now only spawning a few. We can try and counter that with a spawn per unit. Hopefully that works. For every 50 units, let's spawn 1 for now. And see if that helps. It's already a little bit better. But nothing really all too well. And then another annoying thing is that it doesn't really want to reset these emitters. Animation, where's my animation tab actually? It seems to, oh, there we go. You should be able to reset it when you double click on it. Now to tweak this fireball further, I'm actually going to go back to the ground crack real quick and get the fire static. So zoom in on this, right mouse click, emitter, export emitter. And change some things. So grab the color of life of this one. The size by life. Let's see what that looks like already. Now, the lifetime is a bit too long in my own opinion, so let's lower it to this. And also grab the scale color over life. That should make it nice and bright. And let's tweak the spawn per unit so it's spawning faster. Let's say 20 units for one spawn. And that is somewhat better, but I'm still not really too happy with it. I feel like the lifetime is still too long. I kind of want it to behave quite chaotically and fast. Let's go by the size by life, and at the end of the lifetime I actually want them to be fading out as well. And I'm still not too happy with that. Let's see what's set up and required now. Film complete should actually be on. Local space might work in some cases, but in this case it won't look that good. I'm going to kill the dynamic rotation for now. Let's see what that does. It's too similar now though. We can counter that a little bit by changing UV flipping mode and random flip U only. That should give us a little bit more variation, but not enough. So let's check the initial rotation again. Instead of full rotation, let's do like minus O.2 to O.2 so that there's a little bit more sync to it. And I still feel like that the spawn per unit might be working better if it's very low. So let's try that. A bit too high now. Let's try 5. And I want to change more with size by life. So I might actually remove this one. And maybe increase the lifetime again until we get something that looks a little bit better. I want to change the initial size a little bit. Let's try 120 and 80 or so. And it looks somewhat better, though I feel that they are a little bit too high. It would be nice if that flame is a little bit lower, so we can see if we can do that. And you could try -100 now, see where it is. -50. And same with that one. Let's see if that works. So it is attached to a socket, so it's sometimes really hard to see if it's actually moving. Let's try weapon. Oh, go to the skeleton. And there's FX trail, FX clang. A few more FX trail. 1, 2. I wonder where that other socket is actually. Move that one over here. Weapon eye. So it's just attached to the weapon with an offset. Let's grab another socket for this one. Let's duplicate this one. Are we actually able to do that? Well, we can copy it and hopefully paste it again. Paste socket. And rename it FX Trail 02. Oh, 03 then, of course. And move this a little bit down here. Okay, now let's find the other one. Let's copy the socket and paste the socket again. F2 to rename it, and then go for 03. And move it back a little bit as well. Back in here, we're gonna move this one to... how did I name him again? FX, okay. L03. Actually, this should probably be right. So R03, and the bottom one should be FX L03. There. That does feel like a better location. Though I can probably kill the C values now. Let's change the rate scale to like 0.5 so we can actually see it a little bit better. For some reason, one of them is way too high. That's odd. It's probably because there's a Y value in here. That should work. Yes. Let's change this back to 0.85. And there. Let's try something else. Oh my god, the freaking DPI bug again. Okay, its spawning is somewhat nice. We can probably lower this by 225 and still have it look okay in here. Need to refresh it again, else the flame will keep going. Let's change the initial rotation a little bit more. Oh, to 5 to... So that might be a bit too much. I kind of want to tweak the lifetime again. And there. Just some random tweaks. It should do it. Okay. I'm gonna remove the static one. Now I'm wondering if I should add some additional sparks to it. Let's see. Big one, smaller one. And this might work. So let's just grab that fireball, export the sparks. And why are you not here? Did you just import? Yeah. Export emitter. Now you should be here. Yes. Okay, so we don't want this to be a burst, but we want it to emit a few particles while you're going. You don't need to set the emitter loops, so it can just keep going. And we don't really need a real velocity kind of thing either, so positive C, negative C. A bit of velocity is fine. It might actually be better off setting up the sphere instead. Let's try that. Negative C as well. We don't need a surface, we can do this much lower, like 10 and 5 maybe. And we can see what that does. It should just spawn a few sparkles here and there. Gonna move that one, also keep editing that one. And the initial size might be a bit on the fat side here, so let's do that for 3. Spawn a few more. There, let's see what that looks like. You might be able to spawn quite a few more still. Let's do 50 for now. It's GPU particle anyway. I just want to see what it looks like. And if it really adds anything to the effect. I do kind of like that there are some sparks coming off it. Though, I want to try something different. I'm going to set the required emitter loops to 1. The emitter duration, actually the delay should be off. Duration should only be like 0.2 seconds maybe. And I kind of want those sparks to emit almost when he starts hitting. And you can see that the sparks moving away the moment he moves that hammer to the front. And that kind of looks cool. And that should give enough oomph, additional oomph to it. And there's one more thing I want to tweak on that impact effect itself, but we'll go there in a second. Still not too happy with the way the fire looks, though the trail should probably counter that a little bit. I feel like I'm spawning a few too many flames at the moment, so I'm gonna set this to 10. I only want a few of them, perhaps. Need to refresh it. That looks a bit better, and I kind of want to make the trail more defined. So we should probably take a look at the trail, and I'm not a fan of setting up all those trails and whatever. I just not a fan of it, but we can get something better than what we currently have for sure. So let's grab a nice noise texture and save everything first. Always save. The toolbox, the textures, we can try a regular noise texture. Now I grabbed this one before, we might be able to use that again. So let's see, do we need anything additional to this? No. You should be able to just multiply. Actually, we'll see. That should give some additional detail, especially if you make it a panner. O.3 maybe, and O.4. And we can already see what that will do in the animation, of course. Sadly, the fireballs, you cannot disable anything just simply, so I'm just gonna delete them for now. And see what's going on. They already do look a little bit better. So we need some additional control on the opacity. There, that might work, though it's maybe a bit too much overkill. So we might want to go for a multiply add, which basically just multiplies and then adds. Let's see if that looks any better. That looks a bit more pronounced, that might work. Back to the animation. And we need to definitely change that color. Since it's an anim trail, you can't really preview it in here, so we need to go with the color over live. Make this a bit different, and hopefully that will already help quite a bit. We can probably make it a little bit more brighter as well. Again with the DPI bug. There we go. And let's get a scale color over live so that we can tweak those things separately. We just want this to be much brighter. And at the end, this is fine, I think, and the alpha should also be fine. And there, okay, back to the material. And see if you can play with the texture coordinates a little bit to get some more detail. Looks better. Now there's something I kind of want to try real quick, and that's with color over live. And I do want to save this red color there and get a constant curve going. And at the end I obviously want it to be this bright red. It can actually be quite fast, so like 3-5 in. But at the beginning it will be cool if we can like grab a more bluish color, something like that maybe. I kind of want to see what that does to the effect. It does feel like there's a little bit more heat coming off of it, but it might be too bluish. Let's try just one lower value. That could work. It just adds some additional effect around it. Now, if I did copy them, but sadly they ended moving away. That's kind of sad. And I don't think we can Control Z that, so I'm gonna add them later again. There's some other things I kind of want to try because this looks somewhat okay. Let's go to that other particle system again. There we go. And I kind of want to do that for most of the things in this effect. I kind of want to start out with a little bit of a blue to add some additional cool things to this thing. Now we don't really need for the refraction, though the cracks, we can give it a try. Color overlay. And that's initial location. I need color. There you go. I'm just gonna insert it for now. And grab a change the color like that. So it's going to be a bit more purple. I don't really like where that's going. Oh, that one. The cracks might not really benefit from it. I'm gonna keep it for a second for now because it's not much to change. Then we have the fire static. And it's spawning quite a few at the same time, so I'm not sure how this will go. Let's change this to O.2 again. And the initial value should be O.2 and 1. And I don't see any color changes actually. It is using particle color, but it already has this orange texture sample, of course. I wonder if you can override that by doing this, but I'm not sure how that will result in the end. Slow it down. A bit less slowing down. Okay. Come on, DPI bug. Don't show your ugly head all the time. Let's change this to O.4 maybe. Do we need to remove? Normal speed, please. It kind of looks okay, though we might need to change the color overlay of this one as well, and there we go. Though they suddenly are not as bright anymore now. That's probably because there's a scale color here that's different. Oh, not there. Not there either. There we go. And I kind of like it. There's a little bit of additional color going on in it. We probably can do the same thing for the spikes. Let's try that blue one. But I kind of need to see them separately and probably in slow motion. The alpha overlay. I'm wondering what was controlling what again. This is for the glow effect. So -1 doesn't show much. Particle color should control all that color. So let's try and tweak that color overlay. And I'm not seeing anything. That's kind of odd. I'm using dry material. MI glow work new. The title is fine. That's all fine. The particle color is definitely controlling that. The particle alpha is controlling the fade in, fade out. There is something actually already adding the orange color. I know. Can't remember, but I think that's the one. Yeah. Let's see. There's still something orange going on. Oh, that's all this, of course. Oy. How am I gonna do that? We can try an offset, but this is something that I did not foresee, of course. So let's try and find the setup. I might need a U shift for this, and that would be quite an annoying workaround. Now I could remove all the color information here, but there's some of it that's actually quite useful to have. So we might need to refer to a U shift. Let's do that then. I love U shift, so why not? We'll plug this into the texture, put that into the emissive color, and now if I get a scalar value, or in this case I kind of want to use a dynamic parameter, of course. I can grab a U shift. Basically what it does, I'm going to show you real quick. Now if this value is like 0.5, it should be about bluish. There we go. Normally this is something that is set up in all my effects so that I can easily tweak all the colors. But for now, for this particular effect, this should work. So let's plug that in. Clean that up a little bit there. Save it and back to the ground cracks. There. Now we don't really need to change the color of life anymore. I can also remove the event generator. And this all should be fine. The scale color can move. Oh, apologies. Come on, go back. Can delete that one. This should work. Now that glow is controlled by the color over life alpha, so I'm wondering what's going on here. Okay. Totally forgot about that, so now it actually glows in a little bit more. Let's get a dynamic parameter, refresh it, and here we now have that U shift. If I go to 0.5, we suddenly have bluish spikes. And I kind of want to change that over time, so hopefully that will work, else this is all for naught. At the beginning this should be about 0.45 I think, and about 0.2 seconds later it should just be red. So sadly it's going through all those values so quickly that it will... Scheisse. I don't like that at all. So we might have to go back to the drawing board. Let me think real quick. What would be a good way to change those values? I can try and revert it all to grayscale instead. Okay, deleting the dynamic, back to the material. Bye bye U-shift. Let's see. How do we change this all to grayscales? Well, for now, let's try a desaturation node. I don't want to butcher it all. And to see if a desaturation node will solve my problems, because now it's all grayscale. As you can see, everything is now nice and gray. Let's try the color over live. Make it a curve. And initially we kind of want it to be bluish. And quite fast we want it to be quite reddish. So, oops, I kind of need this before the particle color. So all the way there. And the desaturation node goes there. Now I can actually tweak the values. Okay, slow motion, and let's just show the spikes alone. Okay, I want to tweak that a little bit more inside of here. Let's see, spikes, and then the fire goes after it a little bit too slow. So let's see. Cylinder location, there we go. Let's try 0.9 for this. The fire needs to move along the spikes and not too slow behind it. I almost want it to actually be in front of the spikes. And you think that this would have a proper result. We can change those values. Oh my god, 900 maybe and 1000. I kind of want to have that exactly where it needs to be. Let's try 1500. That's already too far. I'm gonna make it a little bit faster. 1300. Okay. I want that fire to move faster. What is causing that fire to behave so oddly? Is there a delay in it required now that I did notice? There we go. Freaking delay. I always keep forgetting about the delay. Okay, back to the initial location. And it's still going a little bit too far sometimes, I think. That's better. As you can see now that the blue effect is a little bit in the front. That actually looks quite nice in my humble opinion. Okay. What else can we do? There's still the sparks, which hopefully isn't as much an issue as all the other things. So in the end, we removed that grayscale color out of this one. So we might be able to convert it to an alpha, but for now this is fine. Doesn't add that much issues. The glowing rock is now a grayscale, and then you're wondering, why do you still have all those glows going on? Because there's still some variation inside of here, just a little bit. You might actually maybe be able to try and change that fraction to like 0.9 so that there's still a little bit of additional effect going on in there. Might not be worth it though, but there. Okay, now let's do the same for the sparks. Oh, wrong button. I want to insert it in front of it, and at the beginning let's just make it blue. And the scale color is probably also messing with that. So we need to copy this one over, get a new one in there. This should probably about 0.2 perhaps. And at the beginning let's make it blue. As you can see, there's now a little bit of blue coming out of that. Maybe get away with this maybe being 0.3 so that there's a little bit more bluish in the beginning. And inside here is actually 0.5. Scale color. Let's try 0.5, though maybe that's a bit too much. I'm gonna go with 0.3 there. Okay, and just before the end, it should be much more black. So like 0.01, 0.01, 0.01 there. Okay, we don't need that for the smoke or the other smoke. And this overall just gives it a little bit more depth in my humble opinion. Though those sparks at the end might have that effect a little bit too long. Let's try 0.3 in here as well. That looks a little bit better. There, so now we have smoke, refraction, noise, a somewhat better looking ribbon. I'm still not too happy with it, but we can tweak that a little bit more if we want to. We can at least try. I'm thinking real quick. Hammered ribbon. Again with the DPI bug. There we go. I have no idea how many units that are actually in the timing distance, but we can try. And now I should set this maybe to 1. Let's see if that works. Okay, we need that to be much higher, I guess. Let's try 200. Still a mess. Fireball. Though it does not have a GPU. Let me do that real quick. Okay, minus 2000 or whatever. And 2000 there. Save this. And keep tweaking the freaking value. And freaking DPI bug. Please don't. I beg of ye. It should all be fine. I have no idea what this value should be. Tangents. Yeah, why not? Okay. So the time distance is 500. So let's try. First I want to see 1000 so I can actually see really what's going on. And now let's try 250 and see the difference. Okay, about 400 is where it's at, I guess. Yeah. Let's make that panner move up a little bit more aggressive. Okay, and additionally, let's see. Let's see what happens when I 1 minus this. Okay, that might not be the result I want, but it's always good to check. No, that's not the result I want. There. Now, we might actually grab this. Change this texture coordinate to 0, change the panner values a little bit, like 0.3 and 0.7. And hook that up here. Hopefully that will give some additional weirdness. And something else, less tempting that I want to try is get a texture coordinate node. Oh, there. Component mask it. And I only want the, I think it's the green channel. Yeah. I want to invert it, so not E. 1 minus, there we go. Preview it. Now I need to offset this texture coordinate node. I'm going to do that with an add. Let's try 0.1. 3 maybe. 5. Okay, that could work. Then multiply that by a factor of, I don't know, 5 maybe. And then multiply that with an emissive color. Though we do want to clamp the bottom to be white as well. I want to add 1 to it. And then multiply that with this so that the bottom is just a normal emissive value of 1. And the top is much higher than that. So that should look like kind of like this. Might need to tweak those texture coordinate nodes a little bit. I think this one is still set to 1, yeah. And this should make the top part a little bit more bright. Let's double check that by making this a value of 100. It's kind of odd. Preview that one. Should not be this tough an edge. It's kind of odd. Let's find a quick workaround to that. Hopefully. Of course not. I don't like this very bright strength edge. Oh well. How does it look like this? Doesn't seem to care much about it. So is it worth pursuing this? Nah. No. Let's see. Okay. Now before I add the fire back in, I kind of want to tweak the impacts part. Now something that I realized is that in slow motion it actually expands and then shrinks. And this will kind of make it feel like something is really expanding, like a explosion or whatever. But this is a hammer hit, and you kind of want to make it feel like all the force is directing to that one location. So I'm actually going to try and tweak the size by life and do something quite different. At the beginning I want it to be about 1.5 big maybe. And I kind of want to get rid of that. It's probably something controlling in here again. The particle alpha for the panning. I kind of guessed that. Okay, color over life. Might want to start with 1 and end with 0. And the size by life should probably just go back to being 1. We can try just 1, and as you can see, this does feel differently, and in the animation itself it should feel more like actually doing something proper to the hit now. So I'm not sure if I feel it like this. Let's tweak it a little bit more. Color of life. Size by life. That looks kind of cute. Let's kill the size by life for now, so I can actually see what everything is doing. And I don't want it expanding, so now it should just emit, yeah. And at the end it should fade out. Okay. Now what we can do, hopefully, expand all. So at the beginning it's not there. Fairly quickly it should expand, and then there. And now the size by life. even faster, maybe even like something like that. It should go to that size. Let's see if that looks better. That spark is lasting too long now. And even though it's like a very quick thing, it's lasting too long, so and I know that you're thinking, but that impact effect is just slightly too late. And that kinda is because of that cam shake. I could tweak it in the blueprint probably, but I don't feel like it. Because in here it actually fits a little bit better. Okay, I think that looks about right. Okay, what else is there left to do? Besides adding those flames back. Let's see. Well, let's add the flames back. Save all, save selected. Get a fireball system going, and I need a simple screenshot. So there. Grab it and back to the animation. Add notify timed particle effect. For now, I'm just gonna do it like this. Select it and get FX number L3 and see how we need to tweak it. So about here might be nice to start at that until it hits the floor about there. Let's see. That looks good. Copy and down and paste it original time. And move this to R03. There. And the only thing I feel like doing now before I'm done might be to change the spark sizes a little bit to make it a little bit bigger, because sometimes it feels a bit smallish. So it might be fine. I do feel like they are too small. These ones over here are fine, but these ones should maybe be a little bit bigger. So close everything, save all the things. Oh, one last thing before I do that, go back to the material and grab that the hammer one, because both of these should be shared wrap. There. And I think that's, yeah, I think that was the only one. Oh wait, we need to do that same thing with the refraction. There, shared wrap. Just a small thing, but I want to make sure that everything is set to that. Close that and close the hammer ribbon one and get with the ground crack. Now we're almost there at the end goal. Let's get the spike sparks going and go with the initial size. And they should look kind of fine, but GPU sprites for some reason tend to be a little bit smaller. So let's just add a small additional number to it, and hopefully that should be enough. Just to make them a little bit more defined. Okay. And there are quite a few of these here. I kind of want to increase the count a little bit, so 12, 10, 22, 12, 30, 20, 40, 20, 60, 30, 80, 30, 80, 40, 90, 40, 60, and the last might be overkill. Let's see if that looks good enough. I tend to go over the top with GPU particles, but I kind of like it. Okay. Now, there is one more thing I want to do before I call it quits. And I kind of want to redo that master material, which is quite annoyingly set up. I don't really like to use the whole attribute blah 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 blah. I just want the textures and apply them. So let's see. Can I find those textures in here? Texture. Oh, the noise textures. I should find a way to I might want to just make a new material because I really don't like how this is set up. So I'm just gonna grab a new material. Material floor 01. Let's see. Where are my textures? New. New. You can grab one of here, I think. Metal rough. We could even use the Refraction. No, the rock basalt. Okay, let's grab that one. So, do we have any normal map? Let's check. Reference viewer. There is a material of it, of course. Okay, we're just using that normal map. Goes into the normal. That goes into the base color. I don't want it to be this rough, so maybe like 0.5 or minus 0.5 probably. One should be fully flat, right? Yeah, okay, 0.75 maybe. Just a little bit of... Okay, now let's grab a roughness, and I'm just gonna try this real quick. It's a bit too shiny now. I need to lerp it between two values. Let's say 0.6 or so. Maybe a bit lower. I don't never like setting up those simple base material things. Now, I do kind of want it to feel a little bit more wet. Let's try 0.66 or so. Come on, load. You know, I think this is might be enough. Might need to tweak the UVs, but I kind of want to apply this to the floor. So grabbing this floor plane. The hell. I never knew it actually was this fractured. That might be a problem. Me and my big ideas at the last second. Come on. Okay, that sort of works. So let's try the same thing in here. Mesh. And get that lame floor texture going. And let's take a look at it. Okay. Yeah, I do prefer the other floor perhaps. But I'll do that offline and probably record it then. So yeah, I think this is it. This is the whole overhaul thing. This took much longer than I expected, but I kind of want to do it right. So we have new iteration on the fire, the spikes, the sparks, the refraction, the way his hammer glows, the effects around the hammer, a trail, and much more sparks than it should, but I kind of love having too much sparks. If it was me, I would probably double it even again. So I'm gonna set up a slightly better floor, slightly better material, and maybe just record a very quick video about that. But for now, this is fine. So I wish you all a good rest of the week. Have a good time, and don't stress out. Take care. Luos out.